Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 6, Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 20, 561, Assassination. 20th of Volume 6. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. What was this place? Not just a ferry crossing, but a hastily constructed small city, its buildings packed tightly together, alleyways a chaotic maze, and goods piled everywhere. Even in the dead of night, at the hour of Cho, 1 to 3 a.m., the place blazed with light and buzzed with activity. Laborers and caravans swarmed the streets, transporting goods. Offshore, masts rose like a dense forest, filling the harbor with ships of all kinds. Li Wei relied on his senses to navigate the labyrinthine streets, searching for Tang Wanzhou by sheer luck. He pondered where she might be hiding, among the buildings or on one of the ships. Qin Zhengyang is not only a master of cultivation but also extremely cautious. He's even crafted puppets. The ferry crossing is undoubtedly crawling with Tai Yin sect spies. Any sign of trouble, and they'll immediately signal Qin Zhengyang to retreat. How will Tang Wanzhou escape after the assassination? Hiding back on Dragon Island would expose her identity. She'll likely flee through the water, south or east. Li Wei hurried through the ferry crossing, covering every corner without finding any trace of her. Feng couldn't detect her vital energy either. Li Wei stopped, thinking, perhaps she's not even here at West Ferry. Maybe she's at the Rice Mother Tower, monitoring the Rice Palace True Disciple's movements. If I follow the True Disciple, won't I eventually find Qin Zhengyang? The aroma of food drifted to Li Wei's nose, drawing his gaze to the seaside tavern at the ferry crossing. It was already the yin hour, 3 to 5 a.m., and steam billowed from within as breakfast preparations were underway. Laborers from the Lingxiao life realm and rainforest habitat, their cultivation realms still low, hurried in and out. After their morning meal, they would begin another day of toil. Since it was still early, Li Wei decided to eat first. He entered the tavern, climbed to the second floor, and settled at a table facing the sea. Gazing at the dense forest of sails on the horizon, he savored the cool sea breeze and steaming buns, his mind gradually calming. On the horizon, a massive black warship sliced through the waves, approaching from the west. Clang! Simultaneously, several carriages bearing distinctive banners emerged from the depths of Dragon Island, arriving discreetly at the ferry crossing. They halted at the shore, yet no one disembarked. Li Wei's eyes narrowed as he studied the distant warship. Something felt off. Wait, he muttered, frowning, isn't it already the Xuanhuan Lantern Festival after midnight? Could their exchange be happening not tonight, but at dawn? The realization struck him like a thunderclap, instantly extinguishing his appetite. Time had suddenly become desperately urgent. The black warship cleaved through the waves, slowly maneuvering into the harbor. From one of the carriages parked at the shore, a graceful figure in azure robes emerged. Veiled and moving swiftly, she hurried toward the warship and boarded silently. From 100 zhang away, Li Wei recognized the figure as either Yang Qingxi or Yang Qingchen. He immediately dispatched the 7th Phoenix, instructing them, don't get too close to the carriages. Li Wei worried that Yang Shenzheng might have replaced the Rice Palace's true disciple for the trade. Such dirty work was perfectly suited for the Sui sect. I hope Tang Wanzhou sensed the danger and has already retreated. After settling his bill, Li Wei grabbed a handful of chopsticks, concealed them in his sleeve, and descended the stairs. He mingled with the laborers, approaching the ship. The 7th Phoenix returned. The entire ship is shrouded in a formation. We can't get inside, so we don't know what's happening inside. Li Wei forced himself to remain calm, blending in with the laborers while secretly observing his surroundings. He couldn't confirm whether Tang Wanzhou had arrived or when she might appear. Whoosh! The formation opened, and a slender, green-clad figure emerged, descending the ship's ladder. Taking advantage of the brief opening in the ship's formation, Feng immediately sniffed the air. It's Yang Qingchen. Old Li, the only vital energy signature on board is that Cho envoy Xie Wumian you mentioned. Wait, there's another one, it's very similar to the envoy Zhongwu. Very similar. That must be Qin Zhengyang's puppet. But wait, Qin Zhengyang clearly stated he would personally retrieve the Tai Yin seal. Why wouldn't he be here? Unless. Li Wei realized that this ship was likely just a decoy, a mere facade. It might even be a trap. There was a second rendezvous point. Qin Zhengyang's true form must be hidden nearby, perhaps concealed aboard one of the ships in the harbor. I have to find a way to warn Tang Wanzhou. Li Wei thought, quickly distancing himself from the black warship. He scanned the dense cluster of ships, but found no clues. Retreating to a hidden spot behind a building, he immediately activated his puppet technique. Lin. The chopsticks in his hand clattered to the ground, enveloped in spiritual light, and rapidly transformed into dozens of 6-foot-tall bamboo humanoid puppets. Before Li Wei could act, a thunderous voice boomed through the night sky. By order of the Calamity Crossing Temple, we are here to apprehend the heretics of the Tai Yin sect. All bystanders must evacuate immediately. The announcement froze the martial mystic cultivators at the ferry crossing, followed by a chorus of panicked cries as they scrambled to flee. Run! The Calamity Crossing Temple and the Tai Yin sector about to clash. If a transcendent battle erupts, even the aftershocks could destroy the entire ferry crossing. We'll all be buried alive. Rumors of the assassination attempt on Xuanhuan had spread like wildfire in recent days, fueling widespread terror. Li Wei pinpointed the direction of the voice, recognizing it as Tang Wanzhou's. She must have sensed something amiss and was trying to lure the enemy out of hiding. Without hesitation, Li Wei commanded his dozens of bamboo humanoid puppets to surge into the crowd, creating even greater chaos. The bamboo humanoid puppets shouted in unison, "Activate the formations immediately. Don't let the Tai Yin sect heretics escape the ferry crossing. We must capture them all in one fell swoop." The envoy Zongwu Qin Zhengyang and Chou envoy Xie Wumian have arrived. The Rice Palace provided us with detailed intelligence. Yang Shenjing is the one meeting with the Tai Yin sect. That old bastard is trying to defect to the Nether Realm of the dead. The ferry crossing erupted into chaos, with shouts and cries shaking the heavens. Bamboo humanoid puppets charged directly at the black warships and carriages, exploding with thunderous booms. On the warship, Xie Wumian couldn't discern truth from falsehood. He only knew that the secret rendezvous, its time and location, had been entrusted solely to Rice Palace's true disciple. He immediately suspected Rice Palace's true disciple of using the Calamity Crossing Temple to eliminate them. Once the formations activated, their deaths would be inevitable, with no escape possible. Soon, Li Wei saw Xie Wumian and Qin Zhengyang's puppets leap from the black warship into the sea, transforming into a silver river that fled westward. Well done, Rice Palace's true disciple. Xie Wumian's venomous voice echoed across the waves, "If I die on Dragon Island today, you won't live to see another sunrise." Several miles away, Qin Zhengyang, who was about to meet Rice Palace's true disciple, heard Xie Wumian's urgent warning. Realizing something had gone wrong, he abandoned all caution, revealing his presence and vital energy as he immediately fled. The cold wind howled fiercely. Tang Wanzhou stood atop the highest peak near West Ferry, clad in her purple governor's official robe. She donned a mask to conceal her vital energy, her pupils turning white as she watched Qin Zhengyang abandon his ship and flee across the sea. "Finally, you've shown yourself." Whoosh! She transformed into a purple mist light cluster and vanished from the mountaintop. In the next instant, she reappeared miles away, hovering above the sea. Sensing the disturbance, Qin Zhengyang glanced back, his expression darkening. He accelerated his escape, pushing his Dao technique to its limits, each stride covering several miles. Whoosh! 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 The purple mist light cluster flashed 3 times in succession, Tang Wanzhou materializing dozens of yards directly ahead of Qin Zhengyang, blocking his path. To a master of the immortal realm, this distance was practically point blank. Qin Zhengyang's body surged with scorching spiritual qi as he unleashed the heavenly sun earthly yin fist. He couldn't afford to be entangled, he had to escape swiftly. His qi was injured, preventing him from using the 5th layer of the technique. He was currently using the 4th layer. Tang Wanzhou remained motionless, her gaze locked on her opponent. From the insignia on her chest, a white mist dragon soul erupted. The dragon's roar reverberated across the sea, summoning towering waves. Boom! Qin Zhengyang's fist strike, overwhelmingly powerful, shattered the dragon soul into soul mist. "So that's all you've got. You're only at the 2nd realm. You're practically begging for death." Qin Zhengyang breathed a sigh of relief, relieved it wasn't a great immortal realm expert. But just as his fist was about to land on Tang Wanzhou, crimson flames erupted from the embroidered patch on the governor's official robe. Sizzle boom. The crimson flames exploded instantly, engulfing the entire sea in a sea of fire. Li Wei, having just rushed out of West Ferry, witnessed the scene from afar. The crimson flames blanketed an area spanning several dozen kilometers, boiling the seawater and lingering for an extended period. It's the golden crow flame. She must have collected it earlier and stored it in the hidden space within the patch. The dragon soul was just a feint to paralyze the enemy, the golden crow flame is her true killing move. On the sea surface, amidst the fiery inferno, Tang Wanzhou was thrown back by the shockwave of Qin Zhengyang's fist strike. Blood spurted from her mouth and nose, as if she had been struck by a divine iron mountain. The sound of cracking bones echoed within her body, and her vision blurred. Luring an enemy into a trap always comes at a price. The moment she regained her footing, she lunged forward, her fingers forming a sword-like gesture, aiming directly for Qin Zhengyang's forehead. Qin Zhengyang had been sent flying by the golden crow flame, his body instantly engulfed in flames. His skin melted, oozing bloody fluid, his entire face twisted into a grotesque, charred mask. Agony coursed through him, fueling his rage. Sensing Tang Wanzhou's approach, he roared, "You think you can defeat me with fire? I am Envoy Zongwu, Qin Zhengyang, whose very cultivation is rooted in fire. You've miscalculated." The circular mark on Qin Zhengyang's forehead blazed crimson, ready to activate a secret technique. A searing pain erupted from his chest's chi, tearing at his injuries and disrupting the secret technique's activation. Thump. Tang Wanzhou's finger sword struck his forehead, but contrary to expectations, it didn't pierce his skull. Qin Zhengyang, an experienced fighter, seized her wrist and flung her away. As he hurled her aside, he struck her with a palm strike, bellowing, "With your cultivation." Qin Zhengyang realized his lips and throat had gone stiff and numb, making speech difficult. His body felt petrified, utterly immobile. It was when Qin Zhengyang struck out with his palm at Tang Wanzhou that Tang Wanzhou, instead of dodging, countered with a gentle tap on his shoulder, affixing the immobilization talisman to him. PFF'd. Tang Wanzhou, who had been sent flying, endured her injuries and surged back with lightning speed. Using her arm as a blade, she severed Qin Zhengyang's head. The bloodied head soared dozens of feet before crashing into the sea, sending a massive splash into the air. Without time to search for any secret treasures Qin Zhengyang might have carried, Tang Wanzhou immediately stored the entire torso in her boundary pouch. Then, activating the governor's official robe, she vanished into a space evasion, heading south. Having witnessed the entire battle, Lu Jingchen immediately drove away, returning to Dragon City. Yang Shenjing stood on the cliff overlooking the sea, watching the rapidly fleeing figure. Who is this audacious fool? To openly assassinate a Tai Yin envoy of the Tai Yin sect, and one of their two most powerful. Nearby, a carriage nestled among waist-high weeds. From within came a melodious voice, "Whoever she is, since she framed the rice palace, she must be captured. And she stole what belongs to me." Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 6, Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 21 562 Chu Yutian. 21st of Volume 6. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. At dawn, the sky remained dark, illuminated only by the clear moonlight. Tang Wanzhou was severely wounded. Activating the governor's robe, she transformed into a slender, ethereal purple shadow and fled, circulating her spiritual chi to heal her injuries. Qin Zhengyang's punches and palm strikes had been brutally fierce, making direct confrontation nearly impossible. To secure a swift victory and prevent complications, Tang Wanzhou had adopted a near-suicidal strategy: inflict 1,000 casualties on the enemy while sustaining 800 of her own. She completely disregarded Qin Zhengyang's attacks, relying solely on the golden crow flame and immobilization talisman to guarantee her enemy's demise. The most challenging part of this plan was landing the talisman. Tang Wanzhou had feigned retreat to lure Qin Zhengyang into pursuit, then used the golden crow flame to burn through his protective spiritual qi. By revealing her second realm cultivation, she lulled Qin Zhengyang into complacency, all to create an opening to strike with the talisman. It was precisely because she possessed the golden crow flame and immobilization talisman that Tang Wanzhou had devised this strategy: terrify the enemy, feign weakness, and stake your life to deliver the talisman. Without these two techniques, she would have employed an entirely different assassination method. As for Lu Jingchen's intelligence about Qin Zhengyang's hidden injuries, Tang Wanzhou had never considered it an advantage. When she decided to assassinate Qin Zhengyang, she hadn't even factored this information into her calculations. Suddenly, a terrifying aura of imminent danger surged toward her from the direction of Dragon Island. On the cliffside, Yang Shenjing thrust his palm into the void, compressing the air and causing the sea surface to sink. Boom! Behind Tang Wanzhou, a mountain-like wave, hundreds of feet high, surged from the sea. The arc-shaped wave, suffused with spiritual qi, crashed down upon her. The full moon hung at the crest of the wave. Yang Shenjing's cultivation was formidable. Strands of spiritual qi coiled around Tang Wanzhou, suppressing her ability to activate the governor's robe. She was about to be crushed into the seabed. Beneath the waves, dark currents swirled. A colossal, shadowy creature swam rapidly toward her, its body covered in massive scales and stretching for miles. With a single flick of its tail, it shattered the wave sweeping toward Tang Wanzhou. The sea churned violently, the roar deafening. The shattered wave rained down like droplets. A deep, resonant voice echoed from the depths, reaching Tang Wanzhou's ears. "The princess says to tell Li Wei that debts of gratitude must be repaid. Go now. Leave this to me." Tang Wanzhou was momentarily surprised, then clasped her hands in a fist salute. "Thank you. I will relay the message." Turning her gaze toward Yang Shenjing's figure on the cliff, Tang Wanzhou projected her voice in a sonic wave. "I am the holy commander of the Shaoyang division of the Sentinel Spirit Army, under orders to eliminate Qin Zhengyang. Yang Shenjing, have you truly pledged allegiance to the nether realm of the dead, declaring war against the entire human race?" The voice carried across the sea, reaching the ears of countless martial mystic cultivators on Dragon Island. After that, no one dared to pursue Tang Wanzhou. So, the one who was killed was Qin Zhengyang of the Taiyan sect. Serves him right. Those lackeys of the nether realm of the dead always act like the human race abandoned them, resorting to ruthless methods and seeking insane revenge, viewing all living humans as enemies. Good riddance. The Sentinel Spirit Army is truly formidable, unlike other human factions that always hesitate, fearing retaliation from the evil. What's the Sentinel Spirit Army? You've never heard of the Sentinel Spirit Army. It's a specialized military force established to monitor every move of the nether realm of the dead. They patrol the most dangerous areas and guard dark, sunless outposts. You've all grown too accustomed to this peaceful era, forgetting that it's all thanks to those nameless heroes who protect us. Yang Shenjing actually dared to confront the Sentinel Spirit Army for the sake of a Taiyan sect fiend. Has he truly defected to the nether realm of the dead? Poor holy commander of Shaoyang division of the Sentinel Spirit Army. After slaying the fiend, she was severely wounded but had to flee immediately, afraid to set foot on the island. She feared her identity would be exposed, leading to retaliation. Even more, she feared people like Yang Shenjing. Yang Shenjing frowned, watching Tang Wanzhou disappear beneath the waves. He dared not strike again, forcing a bitter smile. True disciple, she might actually be a member of the Sentinel Spirit Army. If I rashly attack again, the Sui sect and I will become targets of public condemnation. Just because she claims to be with the Sentinel Spirit Army doesn't make it so. Fine, if you're too afraid to act, this true disciple lord will personally retrieve what's ours. The carriage plunged down the steep slope and into the sea. As it entered the water, a white mist rose, concealing it completely. At the summit of one of the 9 peaks within the Dragon Island Taoist Temple of the Calamity Crossing Temple, Zhuangxian stood in his white Taoist robe, radiating an air of immortal grace. He gazed out over the sea, stroking his beard with a satisfied smile. The cave void Dongshu camp has finally pulled off a stunning comeback. Their young sentinel spirit killed envoy Zhongwu, Qin Zhengyang in full view of countless witnesses. Now those life realm lords can finally shut their mouths. A voice echoed from behind him. With this victory, the cave void Dongshu camp can now funnel cultivation resources to the Shaoyang division without resistance. I'm starting to look forward to the upcoming clash between the Shaoyang division and the Taiyin envoy. The cave void Dongshu camp must forge an elite force to support the next era, just as we did in our time. Li Wei donned the water dragon scale armor and plunged into the sea, pursuing Tang Wanzhou southward. The water dragon scale armor was a 7th rank 1000 inscriptions artifact. Not only did it possess formidable defensive capabilities, but when submerged, it could merge seamlessly with the water, rendering the wearer nearly invisible. It also granted the wearer speed comparable to the water escape technique Dao technique. No matter how meticulously Tang Wanzhou concealed her qi, she would inevitably leave traces. Li Wei had no way of knowing the extent of Tang Wanzhou's injuries or whether she had already lost consciousness somewhere. He also couldn't determine whether Tang Wanzhou was on the surface, underwater, buried in the seabed, or had changed direction. However, with Second Phoenix, a master tracker, and Li Wei's knowledge that Tang Wanzhou's destination was the Moon Dragon Island outpost, he could maintain a general sense of direction. He pursued relentlessly from nightfall until dawn, and then from dawn until the moon hung high in the sky, traversing 6,000 li through the water, searching tirelessly. Along the way, Li Wei encountered 3 groups of pursuing enemies, all fallen spirit powerhouses, ghost marquises and bone marquises, overlords of the nether realm. Splash! Li Wei, clad in his black armor, resurfaced. Scanning the horizon, he spotted the dark coastline of the East Sea's western shore, just 4 or 5 li away. He had already traveled thousands of li from the spot where he and Lu Jingchen had landed the previous night. He approached the shore. Clad in heavy armor, he sat cross-legged amidst the black vegetation, utterly exhausted and his spiritual qi severely depleted. He immediately retrieved 2 top-grade blood crystals, held them in his palms, and began absorbing their spiritual qi. Simultaneously, he dispatched Big Phoenix, Second Phoenix, and Seventh Phoenix, one to maintain vigilance, another to search for Tang Wanzhou, and the third to patrol. After replenishing 50 to 60% of his spiritual qi, Li Wei opened his eyes. In his vision, the twin moons hung in the sky above the sea, even fuller than the night before. The Lantern Festival should have been a time of joyous celebration, with friends and family gathering, trees adorned with lanterns, and the air filled with the aroma of fine wine and delicacies, all culminating in the mesmerizing dragon and fish dances. Yet every year, the Lantern Festival seemed to devolve into a life or death struggle, a frantic race against time that left no room to savor life's beauty. Boss Li, enemies are pursuing us. 7 Phoenix flew back, her form rapidly enlarging before Li Wei's eyes. Instantly alert, Li Wei rose swiftly. Guided by 7th Phoenix, he moved to a higher vantage point along the shore, standing amidst the dark vegetation and gazing out at the sea. There, three strangely shaped undead giant ships sailed on the horizon, shrouded in a gray, ominous mist. Within the swirling mist, only the faint glow of human skin lanterns could be seen. One of the ships, a 30-jong long white bone warship, was unmistakably the same vessel Lu Jingshan had used in the Nether Realm of the Dead, later seized by Luo Pingdan and Xie Wumian. At this moment, Chu Yutian stood on the deck of the central warship, his gaze fixed on the distant mountains along the shore. Behind him, black sails billowed skyward, their masts adorned with swaying corpses that danced in the wind. He was young and handsome, his long hair meticulously combed, resembling a delicate scholar more than a formidable warrior. After boarding the ship, Xie Wumian, his heart pounding with trepidation, approached Chu Yutian from behind, cradling Qin Zhengyang's severed head. The head had been delivered in a box by the Rice Palace, accompanied by a brief explanation. Old Qin, how could you be so careless? Your head was such a precious thing, how did you lose it? Chu Yutian cradled Qin Zhengyang's head in both hands, holding it up before him. Blood dripped continuously from the severed neck, filling the air with a pungent, metallic stench. The crew held their breath, knowing all too well the true disciple lord's volatile temper. Xie Wumian trembled and knelt the moment Chu Yutian spoke, daring not to lift his head. He displayed none of the pride or composure befitting a great power of the immortal realm. Among the crowd, only Chen Shi Qingzhao, clad in a pale yellow robe, offered a gentle reminder with a smile, the true disciple is mistaken. It was his body he lost, not his head. Chen Envoy ranked third among the 12 Tai Yin envoys. With Qin Zhengyang's death, she had risen to second in command. Chu Yutian slapped his forehead. That makes sense. He lost not only his body but also the void divine token. What's the point of leaving me just his head? No one dared answer. Everyone knew the true disciple was currently harboring intense murderous intent. Xie Wumian stared fixedly at Chu Yutian's shoes, his voice trembling through clenched teeth. The Rice Palace true disciple must have betrayed us. We must refine that bitch into a battle corpse. Chu Yutian glanced down at him, then handed Qin Zhengyang's head to the Chen envoy. He crouched down, cradling Xie Wumian's face as if it were Qin Zhengyang's severed head. Xie Wumian was terrified. True disciple. I was wrong. Give me another chance. I'll definitely catch the culprit, sever her head, and retrieve the void divine token. Just one more chance. I can do it. She's already severely wounded. I can defeat her. Chu Yutian met his gaze at close range, then helped Xie Wumian to his feet, reassuring him, I'm not blaming you. Wumian, you're the youngest and weakest among us, yet you managed to escape Dragon Island. You're stronger than old Qin. Don't be afraid. You're right, the culprit is severely wounded and can't escape. Xie Wumian's chest rose and fell, gradually calming down. Chu Yutian surveyed the assembled crowd. Can anyone tell me when the Shaoyang division emerged within the Sentinel Spirit Army? And who exactly is this holy commander? The room fell silent. No one knows. Chu Yutian asked with a smile. Everyone lowered their heads, avoiding his gaze. After a long pause, the Chen envoy spoke up. It must be a newly established organization. The name alone suggests they're targeting us. In our previous clashes with the Cave Void Dongshu camp, though we achieved resounding victories, they managed to uncover our internal infiltrators and purge many of our operatives. Investigating the Shaoyang division will likely take time. Luo Pingdan said flatly, our presence within the Cave Void Dongshu camp is already weak. We had instructed the High Envoy, who infiltrated the Cave Void Dongshu camp, to remain dormant. But now it seems we must activate him prematurely. Send him a message, he must uncover detailed information about the Shaoyang division's personnel. Given its recent establishment, its members must be the most outstanding talents of this generation, making them relatively easy to identify. After issuing these instructions, Chu Yutian continued, now, let's discuss last night's defeat. What went wrong? What are your thoughts? Those who betrayed us from the Rice Palace may remain silent. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6, Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 22, 563, The True Disciple of the Rice Palace. 22nd of Volume 6. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The Rice Palace true disciple was clearly set up, the envoy said, he failed to obtain the void divine token and now bears the blame. The problem must lie within our own ranks, someone leaked information to the Sentinel Spirit Army. This matter is entrusted to you. Chu Yutian said with a smile, his eyes gleaming with excitement, as if he had thought of something amusing. Find the traitor, and bring him to me alive. On the sea surface, a 3-foot-long ghost-faced owl flew from the dark mountains on the shore and landed on the ship's railing before Chu Yutian, folding its wings. The owl's face resembled a human's, yet was eerily ghost-like. It spoke in a secret language. Traces have been found in the Netherworld. Everyone, move out. If she escapes back to the cave void Dongshu camp, the Taiyin sect will become the laughingstock of the world. Chu Yutian called out to Xie Wumian, who was about to depart. Wumian, there won't be a third chance. If you fail to capture the traitor this time, I'll have no choice but to conclude that you are the mole. Forgiveness is precious, but it has its limits. Xie Wumian's face turned deathly pale, but he replied solemnly, true disciple, rest assured. I won't disappoint you this time. Go then. Someone get me a stick. Chu Yutian shouted. Immediately, a martial mystic cultivator from the Tai Yin sect snapped his spiritual artifact spear in half, removed the spearhead, and presented the wooden shaft to Chu Yutian with both hands. Thank you. Chu Yutian said, accepting the stick. He impaled Qin Zhengyang's severed head on the end and began twirling it playfully, like a child with a new toy, finding the spectacle thoroughly amusing. From 3 yin mist-shrouded warships on the sea, powerful figures soared into the air, pursuing a specific direction within the Netherworld. Xie Wumian, transformed into a silver sand river, Luo Pingdan, riding a rooster, the corpse marquis, bearing twin banners. Their grand procession had entered the nether realm of the dead and gathered even more dead spirits along the way, forming a formidable army. This doesn't look good. Could Tang Wanzhou have fled into the nether realm of the dead and been discovered? That's impossible. The nether realm of the dead is swarming with dead spirit spies, both above and below. Why would she flee there? Li Wei waited a moment before Feng, who had been tracking the vital energy traces, returned. There's a faint residual trace of the young lord's vital energy, Feng reported, but the direction isn't south toward Moondragon Island, it's north. What? She turned back. Continuing south was the only path to Moondragon Island. Li Wei quickly analyzed the situation, surmising that the Tai Yin sect and the dead spirit powerhouse's pursuit direction was likely a diversion orchestrated by Tang Wanzhou to buy time. If she could stall them long enough, her vital energy traces and other clues would dissipate, making it impossible for her enemies to track her. She's planning to sneak back to Dragon Island. Then, under the guise of Tang Wanzhou, she'll leave openly and legitimately. Having reached this conclusion, Li Wei secretly admired Tang Wanzhou's strategy. Yet he hesitated, wondering whether he should continue pursuing her. She seemed utterly confident, as if she knew exactly what she was doing every step of the way. The Tai Yin sect's tracking methods were formidable, even extending to the sea, where dead spirits lurked. Li Wei dove back into the water and swam south along the coastline. Pursuing Tang Wanzhou directly would only lead him straight into the Tai Yin sect's clutches. Instead of helping, he risked getting caught himself. By dawn, Li Wei surfaced, having traveled 3,000 miles. Gazing at the golden mist over the sea and the rising sun on the horizon, his nerves finally relaxed. He retrieved his jade boat, preparing to head straight for Moondragon Island at full speed. Whoosh! A figure shot from the shore 2 miles away, closing the distance to the jade boat and Li Wei in an instant. Li Wei's eyes narrowed. From the wind mansion at the back of his head, the yellow dragon sword flew forth. Guided by his spiritual qi, the gleaming blade slashed out. It's me. Tang Wanzhou's voice rang out. Li Wei immediately redirected the yellow dragon sword with his intent, the blade skimming past Tang Wanzhou's shoulder. The sword plunged into the water, creating a splash, before flying back into his hand. Overwhelmed with relief and joy, Li Wei turned to Tang Wanzhou, who had landed on the jade boat. You didn't return to Dragon Island. Tang Wanzhou's qi concealment techniques were masterful. Draped in the corpse skin of a dead spirit, she had nearly fooled Li Wei into mistaking her for an enemy. If even you were deceived, the enemy will need at least half a day to realize what's happened. She tore off the corpse skin she had been wearing, donned her mask, and stood proudly at the bow of the boat, handing Li Wei a boundary pouch. Qin Zhengyang's corpse is inside. Quickly store it in the blood mud space. I fear the Tai Yin sect might still be tracking me, there must be something special on the body. Ordinary boundary pouches won't conceal it. That's certainly possible. Li Wei noticed the burns covering her body, leaving no patch of skin unscathed. Tang Wanzhou had likely found him so quickly because she had left a wisp of sword qi in his wind mansion back in Lingxiao City, which Li Wei had yet to refine. He hadn't sought help with refining it, partly because he wanted to understand its nature himself, and partly to see when he could reach her level. We need to leave immediately. We're still not safe. I have a persistent sense of being tracked, a danger I can't shake off. Chu Yutian himself might be coming. Tang Wanzhou retreated into the jade boat's interior, leaning against the hull with her eyes closed, trying to rest her exhausted and wounded body. Her spiritual qi was nearly depleted, leaving her utterly drained. Li Wei immediately activated the Dao Ancestors Tai Chi fish, sending the boundary pouch into the blood mud space. Currently, only 4th Phoenix and 5th Phoenix were inside, keeping your company. Suddenly, a white mist began to rise from the sea. The dense mist, as usual, enveloped the jade boat with astonishing speed, completely obscuring their vision. They've caught up after all. Tang Wanzhou braced her weary body, her gaze hardening with the gravity of facing a formidable enemy. From her ancestral field, Longju's Nine Heavens Dragon Pool sword flew into her hand, its blade shimmering with azure dragon scales. Li Wei gripped the yellow dragon sword, channeling his senses to their absolute limit. Spiritual chi surged from his feet, propelling the jade boat forward. Boom! Before the jade boat could even take flight, it collided violently with a carriage that had burst from the white mist. The formation glows of the boat and carriage clashed fiercely, sending bright ripples of energy surging outward. The jade boat spun wildly backward, while Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou transformed into two fleeting afterimages, leaping clear of the vessel. They exchanged a glance and simultaneously activated the governor's official robes, preparing to teleport away. Whoosh! An overwhelmingly terrifying wave of spiritual chi erupted from the carriage, carrying with it a faint, sweet scent of rice. Just as Tang Wanzhou began channeling spiritual chi into his governor's official robe, a graceful, ethereal figure shot from the mist-shrouded carriage with a whoosh. She was completely enveloped in feather-like wisps of white spiritual chi, golden rice powder swirling at their core. Though her features remained obscured, the mere sight of her silhouette radiated an indescribable, hazy beauty, hinting at a face of peerless, world-shattering allure. Bang! In an instant, the two swords clashed. The graceful figure amidst the feathers and golden dust stood where Tang Wanzhou had been moments before, while Tang Wanzhou was sent flying backward, spitting blood, utterly overwhelmed. Li Wei, momentarily stunned, realized that the white feathers flying past him were not feathers at all, but white rice stalks. She's not Zhang Ning. Whoosh! Li Wei stepped forward, slashing his sword in a sweeping arc, leaving a trail of shimmering light. But the sword strike missed its mark. The graceful figure pursued Tang Wanzhou, unleashing a second, third, and fourth sword strike, sending her hurtling miles away until she crashed onto the shore. During the exchange, their bodies moved with the speed of light. Clang! A token fell from Tang Wanzhou's body. Her flying body carved a deep furrow into the ground, embedding itself at the end, her long hair splayed out. The sword remained firmly in her grip. Her eyes still burned with battle intent. The graceful figure released a wisp of spiritual chi from her fingertip, coiling the token into her hand. She murmured, "Void divine token. She's a Rice Palace true disciple. Run." Tang Wanzhou warned Li Wei through the swirling white mist, then used her sword to prop up her trembling body. The mask had been shattered by her sword chi, revealing a face severely burned. Li Wei had no intention of fleeing. First, he released the 5 phoenix-winged moth emperors from his insect pouch, then reactivated the Dao ancestors' Tai Chi fish, determined to retrieve Yuer. The graceful figure stowed the void divine token, her gaze icy as she fixed it on Tang Wanzhou across the battlefield. "Who are you, and why are you so hideous? You've angered me." Tang Wanzhou roared, her arms outstretched. The ancestral field opened, spiritual chi erupted, and the space around them trembled violently. Ow! From the swirling spiritual chi clouds, 5 snow dragon Zhao, each comparable to a immortal realm martial mystic cultivator, pulled the jade carriage of the ancient heavenly emperor. Their deafening flood dragon roars shattered the earth as they charged toward the graceful figure. Recognizing Tang Wanzhou's carriage, the figure didn't engage directly. Instead, she executed a series of uncanny evasive maneuvers, dodging the onslaught before vanishing into the depths of the white mist. "So it's you. Now that you've joined the Sentinel Spirit Army, we'll settle this when your wounds heal at the time ruins ancient kingdom. Even if I defeat you today, you won't accept it. Of course, that's assuming you escape. I won't kill you myself, someone else will." Whoosh! Big Phoenix intercepted the graceful figure's path, only to be swatted aside with a flick of her sleeve. Feng descended from above, its membranous wings slicing through the air. As it slashed through the golden rice powder enveloping her, she seized its neck with her bare hand, a sickening crunch echoing. Just as she was about to twist off its head, their eyes locked. She hesitated for a moment, slightly loosening her grip, and flung Feng away. With a whoosh, her figure vanished into the mist. Li Wei, holding Yuer's hand, leapt ashore. The Rice Palace true disciple had already vanished without a trace. Tang Wanzhou leaned heavily on her sword. "She's gone. And declared war on me." Li Wei saw her severe injuries and tried to pull her into the blood mud space for healing. "Not yet. The Tai Yin sect's enemy has arrived. We must eliminate him, or our identities will be exposed." Tang Wanzhou coughed up another mouthful of blood, collapsing to the ground. "I can only muster half my strength for one more strike." Li Wei sensed a presence and turned around. The white mist over the sea, which had dissipated as the Rice Palace true disciple retreated, was now very thin. Woof! Woof! A dog barked. A gust of wind swept through. The imposing figure of Xie Wumian, with his silver pure immortal physique, materialized in Li Wei's vision. His silver hair billowed in the wind as he stood atop the 5-dragon jade carriage, holding a silver shield. Beside him stood a silver-eyed corpse dog. Without Tang Wanzhou's spiritual qi to sustain them, the Jiao souls of the 5 snow dragon Jiao had retreated into the carriage, their offensive power extinguished. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 6, Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 23, 564, The Beating of Xie Wumian. 23rd of Volume 6. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. A large force from the Taiyan sect, including Chu Yutian, had been lured toward Dragon City by Tang Wanzhou's strategy. Xie Wumian was tasked with continuing the search southward, just in case. Sensing the bottle's energy fluctuations, he swiftly arrived to investigate. As the white mist dissipated, revealing 3 figures on the shore, Xie Wumian's pupils constricted sharply, and a chill ran down his spine. He had indeed found the severely wounded Shaoyang division member. But he also saw the little girl clutching the prefectural governor's official seal. What truly sent shivers down his spine was the terrifying conclusion he had drawn about the girl's origins based on his recent inquiries and investigations. When Li Wei turned to face him, Xie Wumian immediately unleashed his spiritual qi to activate the 5-dragon jade carriage beneath his feet, but his attempt failed. He then scooped up the silver-eyed corpse hound and leapt backward like a carp, executing an escape Dao technique midair. He transformed into a long river of silver sand, plunging into the boundless East Sea. At that moment, the mist-shrouded sea shimmered golden under the morning sun. Splash! A silver streak several miles long appeared in the water, rapidly receding into the distance. Discovering the Shaoyang Division Holy Commander's identity was already a major accomplishment, enough to satisfy the true disciple. If he could escape now, it would be a complete victory. Xie Wumian could see that the Shaoyang Division Holy Commander was at her limit. Intelligence reports indicated she was only at the 2nd realm. He inwardly cursed his misfortune at encountering Li Wei and the little girl who might be Yu Yaozi, missing a golden opportunity for fame and glory. Throw it! Li Wei shouted. Yuer had been ready all along. She hurled the jade seal, which shot through the air like a white meteor and plunged into the sea, striking the tail of the silver river. It carved a white path through the water, and a muffled impact echoed from the seabed. Blood welled up from beneath the surface, but the silver river didn't stop, already surging more than 10 miles away. Missed again. Yuer scanned the ground for another suitable weapon, preparing for another strike. Stay here and protect the young lord, Li Wei said, his psychic power still locked onto Xie Wumian. With a burst of body technique, he shot forward like an arrow loosed from its bow. He wasn't sure he could catch up, but he had to try. Command the 5-dragon jade carriage, Tang Wanzhou instructed, they will obey you. Li Wei glanced at the ancient heavenly emperor's carriage in the water, then turned and leapt onto the jade carriage's seat. Spiritual qi surged from his wind mansion, enveloping the entire carriage. 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors landed on the vehicle, arranging themselves neatly like 7 iridescent waterbirds. Boom! After absorbing most of Li Wei's spiritual qi, the carriage shuddered violently as dense scripture patterns materialized across its surface. 5 colossal snow dragon jiaos erupted from within the carriage, each radiating bone-chilling cold. Their qi grew increasingly potent, their claws as large as winnowing baskets and as sharp as blades. The frigid qi instantly crystallized the sea surface into a layer of ice that spread rapidly across the water. A woo! Roar! The 3 snow dragon jiaos in the center radiated an aura no weaker than that of a 2nd realm immortal realm martial mystic cultivator, ancient secret scripts shimmering on their horns. The 2 flanking jiaos were slightly weaker, their bodies appearing more translucent. Rumble! Under the jade carriage's formation, the combined power of the 5 snow dragon jiaos converged, pulling the carriage forward in a frenzied pursuit of Xie Wumian. Their majestic forms surged through the air and sea, their momentum overwhelming. Tang Wanzhou's spiritual qi was severely depleted. Otherwise, with this ancient heavenly emperor's carriage, she could have escaped even if she couldn't defeat the Rice Palace's true disciple. The combined speed of the 5 jiaos far surpassed Xie Wumian's escape Dao technique, quickly closing the gap. Within the silver river beneath the waves, Xie Wumian glanced back. He saw the 5 flood dragon pythons baring their fangs and claws, their eyes blazing with fury, like 5 demon marquises closing in for the kill. Even at his peak, he would have to avoid their combined attack. Li Wei stood tall and straight atop the carriage, locking onto Xie Wumian's true form beneath the waves while sensing the connection between his spiritual qi and willpower and the 5 jiaos. Whoosh! He summoned the myriad manifestation staff spear. Activating the spiritual light between his eyebrows, he channeled a stream of spirit light down his arm and into the spear. Instantly, a blinding beam of light erupted from the spearhead, searingly bright, and struck Xie Wumian's true form beneath the waves. Sizzle. The beams of light struck again and again, causing the water's surface to erupt in towering waves. Within the Silver River, a spiritual artifact shield spun rapidly, deflecting Li Wei's spiritual light attacks. The entire sea was crisscrossed by a dazzling network of bright light beams. Underwater, Xie Wumian seethed with frustration. He had never imagined being pursued by a first-realm holy spiritual master. After all, even in Zhuro, the seasoned second-realm immortal realm martial mystic cultivator from the Thousand-Mile Mountain Lu clan, had been no match for him. Yet Xie Wumian dared not stop, dared not retaliate. He was indeed powerful, but not powerful enough to withstand a coordinated attack from a group of immortal realm cultivators. Above him, 5 snow dragon Jiao flood dragon souls loomed, their massive claws crashing down, each strike creating deep craters in the sea's surface. Splash! Xie Wumian grunted and plunged deeper into the abyss, intending to tunnel into the seabed and neutralize his opponent's advantage in controlling the 5 snow dragon Jiao. If they dared pursue him into the depths, they would be courting death. With a thunderous roar, the 5 snow dragon Jiao dove after him, their colossal claws tearing through the Silver River, shattering Xie Wumian's escape Dao technique. Xie Wumian immediately released his silver-eyed corpse hound. Hurry and report to the true disciple, he commanded, summon the army of the dead. 5th Phoenix, 6th Phoenix, intercept him. Li Wei commanded, his spirit realm between his eyebrows continuously weaving runes. Gripping his spear in one hand and the evil camel bell in the other, he activated his psychic power armor, preparing to personally engage. Having broken through to become a holy spiritual master, Li Wei's confidence had surged. While the combined might of his psychic martial mystic powers might still fall short against Xie Wumian at his peak, he could certainly hold his own against ordinary second-realm immortal realm martial mystic cultivators. Moreover, he had plenty of allies at his side. This battle wasn't about victory or defeat. It was about surrounding and eliminating Xie Wumian, a task that demanded their full commitment. Boom. Like a spiritual war god, Li Wei dove downward, his spear piercing through layers of silver spiritual chi before crashing heavily against Xie Wumian's raised silver shield. Spiritual light erupted from the spear tip, carving an arc of luminous trails through the water like a cascading waterfall of light. The deafening roar reverberated like the striking of a celestial bell, sending ripples spreading through the water in concentric waves. This shield was of even higher quality than the one Yuer had destroyed earlier, its surface shimmering with intricate scriptures and formation glyphs. Li Wei keenly noticed Xie Wumian was wielding the shield with his left hand, not his usual right. This confirmed that while the arm Yuer had shattered had been reattached or regrown, it hadn't fully recovered. Blood continued to seep from the calf of Xie Wumian's left leg, a wound inflicted by the prefectural governor's official seal Yuer had hurled earlier. In just a few months apart, his combat prowess has advanced significantly, Xie Wumian thought, his eyes fixed intently on Li Wei across from him. He sensed something unnatural about the youth, feeling the heavy weight of power behind the shield arm. Above, to his left, behind, and below, massive flood dragon soul bodies materialized around Xie Wumian from all directions. The 5 snow dragon Jiao, being soul bodies, moved unimpeded through the water. A luminous dragon claw, larger than Xie Wumian's entire body, descended from above. Its 4 crystalline talons, sharp as spears, radiated an icy aura that rapidly froze the surrounding seawater into white ice crystals. Crack! Crack! Xie Wumian's spiritual chi erupted from within him like a silver cloud, shattering the ice crystals and forcing Li Wei back. Immediately afterward, a 1,000 inscriptions artifact, a jade ruyi, shot forth, striking the descending dragon claw. Almost simultaneously, 2 more dragon claws emerged from below and behind, each wielding combat power comparable to a immortal realm martial mystic cultivator. Purple lightning crackled, surging from dozens of meters away and converging in Li Wei's palm. A sliver of the myriad inscriptions artifact's power activated, instantly transforming the entire sea into a violet expanse. Xie Wumian parried left and right, unable to break through the encirclement. He sensed the imminent threat of death, the coordinated attack was terrifying. With his early second realm cultivation, he felt his strength failing him. Boom! A flood dragon's claw tore through Xie Wumian's protective spiritual chi, its sharp talons scraping against his spiritual artifact battle armor, sending sparks flying. With his protective spiritual chi shattered, the thunder and lightning unleashed by the purple heaven thunder seal struck Xie Wumian directly. A numbing sensation spread through his body, slowing his movements. If this continues, I'm doomed. I must break this deadlock. Shield in one hand and jade ruyi in the other, Xie Wumian's eyes burned crimson as he charged through the encirclement of 5 snow dragon Jiaos. At the ancestral field, space suddenly trembled violently. Swish! Swish! A shower of silver sand erupted, each grain a tangible silver particle inscribed with a Dao scripture. This was Xie Wumian's ultimate killing move, specifically designed to shatter protective spiritual chi and counter encirclements. The silver sand shot forth, forming a dazzling, ethereal stream in the water, a river of light. With a resounding boom, it struck one of the snow dragon Zhao's, reducing its sole body to mist with a pained wail. More silver sand rained down upon Li Wei. To eliminate a powerhouse of this caliber. It's clearly no simple task. Li Wei summoned the purple heaven thunder seal, enlarging it to the size of a house and positioning it before him as a shield. From the resplendent purple seal, streaks of violet lightning erupted, colliding violently with the incoming river of silver sand. Boom. Boom. Half of the thousands of silver grains had their scriptures obliterated by the lightning, their luster extinguished as they plummeted toward the seabed. The remaining half, guided by Xie Wumian's spiritual qi and willpower, converged from all directions, hurtling toward Li Wei. Strike the head to capture the thief. Xie Wumian knew perfectly well that the 5 snow dragon Zhao's formidable combat prowess stemmed from Li Wei's control. Eliminating him would neutralize the entire threat. Boom. The outermost layer of Li Wei's psychic radiance armor shattered under the silver sand's attack, revealing a second layer of defense, the water dragon scale armor. Over 7,000 scriptures materialized on the black dragon scale armor, forming an impenetrable barrier that repelled every grain of silver sand. Another major artifact. Xie Wumian spat through gritted teeth. He surged through the gap he'd created in the silver sand encirclement, first hurling a spinning silver shield at Li Wei. His true form followed closely behind, continuously channeling spiritual qi into the Jade Ruyi, his gaze locked on Li Wei, anticipating his next move. Stripped of the psychic radiance armor's enhancement, Li Wei dared not directly confront Xie Wumian's shield. Leveraging the water dragon scale armor's underwater speed advantage, Li Wei darted upward like a dragon, evading the attack. This ends now. With uncanny speed, Xie Wumian materialized directly above Li Wei. The Jade Ruyi in his hand erupted with the power of 1,000 inscriptions artifact, unleashing a scripture that violently displaced the surrounding seawater. The Jade Ruyi swung down in a devastating strike. Instead of using the Qian secret incantation to evade, Li Wei braced himself, raising the myriad manifestations staff spear to block. Boom. The Jade Ruyi crashed against the staff spear with crushing force, the impact resonating like thunderous divine roars. The force was overwhelming. Li Wei was instantly driven toward the seabed, his arms momentarily numb. Yet this desperate defense created an opening for Big Phoenix and Second Phoenix to strike. One slashed Xie Wumian's neck with its membranous wings, while the other's talons pierced his injured left leg. Xie Wumian roared in agony, large chunks of flesh torn from his neck and leg, staining the surrounding seawater crimson. Despite his formidable physical defenses and surging spiritual qi, he barely withstood the lethal strikes, narrowly avoiding decapitation and the loss of his leg. Abandoning his pursuit of the plummeting Li Wei, Xie Wumian glared at Big Phoenix and Second Phoenix, then at the 4 snow dragon Zhao. He retracted his shield and fled toward the surface. It turned out there were more than just 5 snow dragon Zhao, 2 powerful immortal realm rare insects had been hidden as well. He had completely underestimated his opponents. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6. Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 24 565 Triumphant Return, Vice Sentinel Lord's Personal Welcome. 24th of Volume 6. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Having withstood Xie Wumian's strike, Li Wei sustained only minor injuries and quickly recovered. This was because he had correctly anticipated that Xie Wumian's arm, which held the Jade Ruyi, had not fully healed and could not unleash its full power. After plummeting 100 meters, Li Wei swiftly stabilized his descent. His gaze remained fixed on the silver figure rapidly approaching the sea surface. He immediately shook the evil camel bell, channeling a continuous stream of fiery spiritual qi into it. Clang! Clang! The bell's sonic waves surged across the sea surface at speeds far exceeding ordinary sound. Instantly, the consciousness of all marine life in the area became chaotic and frenzied. The moment Xie Wumian burst from the water, the evil camel bell's sonic waves caught up to him. His entire body trembled, his mind erupted in a deafening roar, as if his skull had been shattered. Agonizing pain tore through him, and a tidal wave of chaotic thoughts flooded his mind. It felt as if 1,000 armies were tearing apart his soul spirit. Ow! Boom! The 4 snow dragon Zhao, having already pulled the jade carriage out of the sea, lunged at the staggering Xie Wumian, engaging him in a fierce battle. After only a few exchanges, Xie Wumian was completely overwhelmed, forced into a purely defensive position. He was tossed back and forth by the flood dragon's claws, his injuries mounting with each blow. Splash! Li Wei burst from the water like a pillar of light, landing steadily on the surface. His eyes were icy, and a radiant spiritual light blazed from the center of his brow. He wielded a spear in one hand while continuously shaking the evil camel bell with the other, resembling a young, handsome, and mysteriously malevolent sorcerer. If Xie Wumian possessed the great immortal or any other transcendent power, now was the time to unleash it. As for ordinary transcendent spiritual qi, it would be utterly ineffective in a clash of this magnitude. Confirming the absence of immediate danger, Li Wei stowed the evil camel bell and raised the myriad manifestation staff spear above his head. He drew down the sun's radiant light from the heavens, channeling it into a sun, moon, and stars combined attack formation with the 5 phoenix-winged moth emperors. With a single leap, he surged forward, covering 100 zhong in an instant. Boom! The formation's luminous disk collided violently with the massive circular shield imprint that had materialized from Xie Wumian's shield. Xie Wumian braced himself with both arms, but the newly regenerated limb instantly cracked under the strain. His left leg trembled, blood gushing like a waterfall. The wound on his neck, now exposing bone, bled even more profusely. Xie Wumian's critically injured body couldn't withstand the attack. He staggered backward, roaring in fury, his words laced with provocation. You only dare to fight me because you have so many allies. Have the courage to face me one-on-one. Why not use your allies? Does the Tai Yin sect have some rule against that? Li Wei channeled the power of the combined attack formation, wielding the myriad manifestation staff spear like a whip, sending Xie Wumian flying dozens of meters into the midst of the 4 snow dragon Zhao. As the flood dragons tore at him, Xie Wumian screamed, I'm a sentinel spirit army spy infiltrating the Tai Yin sect. Thwack! Li Wei lunged forward, his spear piercing Xie Wumian's throat. I'm Sentinel Spirit Army. Xie Wumian's lips moved, his voice fading as blood filled his throat. Thwack! The spear's edge sliced through, severing his head. You call yourself Sentinel Spirit Army. As if you're worthy. Still, you're clever to come up with this stalling tactic at death's door. Li Wei didn't believe him for a moment. If Xie Wumian were truly a Sentinel Spirit Army infiltrator, why had he insisted on beheading and Zhuro in the nether realm of the dead when it wasn't necessary? His actions spoke volumes about his true nature. Besides, why had he tried to flee earlier? Whoosh! A ball of spiritual light materialized in Li Wei's palm. He imprinted it onto a spiritual paper scroll. The imprint captured Xie Wumian's final words, I'm a Sentinel Spirit Army spy infiltrating the Tai Yin sect. Li Wei possessed a keen ability to seize opportunities, sensing that this spiritual light imprint might hold some value. For instance, it could lead Chu Yudian to make a misjudgment. Throughout the entire encounter, he never used the all-secret incantation immobilization talisman runes he had drawn in his brow center spirit realm, nor the 10 heavenly sword talismans. Ultimately, Xie Wumian was not at his peak condition and was single-mindedly focused on escaping, severely diminishing his combat prowess. Had he possessed the same essence, qi, and spirit as Tang Wanzhou when she killed Qin Zhengyang, and fought Li Wei to the death, that would have been a truly troublesome situation. He stored Xie Wumian's corpse and severed head in the blood-mud space. Then, using the Wind Thunder banner, he summoned hurricanes and lightning to cleanse the surrounding sea area of lingering vital energy. As for the demonic beast spies in the water, their consciousness had already been severely damaged by the evil camel bell, so there was no need to fear exposure. Li Wei retracted the jade carriage, gathered his 5 phoenix-winged moth emperors, and rode the neonly spiritual light back to the shore. The 5th phoenix and 6th phoenix had already returned. The silver-eyed corpse hound lay crushed beneath the 5th phoenix's feet, reduced to a truly dead dog. Yuer, who had plunged the prefectural governor's official seal into the seabed, had it retrieved by the 6th phoenix. Tang Wanzhou, wearing a veil and with her long hair cascading down her back, stood ramrod straight and asked, how did it go? 5 snow dragon Zhao, 5 strange insects, with such overwhelming support, if I couldn't defeat Xie Wumian, it would be utterly humiliating. Still, we lost 1 snow dragon Zhao. The snow dragon Zhao were not the heavenly emperor's dragon soul from the governor's official robe. With a martial mystic cultivator's cultivation at the Dao Seed realm, one could only summon a wisp of dragon soul mist. No need for further words. We've made a huge profit this time. As for the Zhao soul, we can capture a stronger one later, Tang Wanzhou said. After erasing all traces, Li Wei steered the jade boat southward at full speed. Several miles away along the coast, a slender white figure emerged from behind black reefs, watching the jade boat's luminous trail fade into the distance. The following evening, Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou arrived at the northern cliff outpost of Moondragon Island. After 2 days and a night of recuperation, Tang Wanzhou's spiritual qi had fully recovered. She changed into fresh clothes, donned her mask, and concealed herself completely. As they walked along the forest path leading to the outpost, she said to Li Wei, the Rice Palace's true disciple wouldn't reveal our identities. If he intended to expose us, he would have killed us then and there to silence us. Li Wei, who had already spoken with Feng and appeared deeply troubled, nodded slowly. Tang Wanzhou continued, truthfully, from the moment we joined the Sentinel Spirit Army, we should have been mentally prepared for our identities to be exposed sooner or later, and for facing retaliation from the Tai Yin sect and the Nether Realm of the Dead. Are you afraid? If everyone feared retaliation, this world would have no hope left, Li Wei replied. My only concern is that the Tai Yin sect might target the Zhu Li tribe instead of me. Aren't you worried they'll target the Snow Sword Tang court? A deep, resonant voice echoed through the forest. Stop dwelling on hypotheticals. Since the Cave Void Dongshu camp selected you to deal with Chu Yutian and the Tai Yin envoy, they won't leave you with any lingering concerns. Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou exchanged glances before rushing out of the dense forest into the clearing outside the outpost. They bowed in unison to Lu Tianqian. Greetings, Deputy Sentinel Lord. Lu Tianqian stood at the center of the clearing, Elder Qin and Tuo Badao behind him. Lu Tianqian gazed at the two young men before him, his eyes filled with undisguised admiration, before his expression quickly turned solemn. Li Wei, you're right. Every power in the world, to varying degrees, fears the Tai Yin sect, including the ancient sects of the imperial court. But if everyone compromises, the Tai Yin sect will dictate the laws of the world, and all will become slaves of the Nether Realm of the Dead. If they command us to die, we must die. If they command us to kneel, we must kneel. Across all the camps in southern Yingzhou, at least several hundred Sentinel Spirit Army members have been exposed to the Tai Yin sect, representing hundreds of factions, large and small. This includes myself and the Lu clan I lead. Their desire to destroy the Lu clan far surpasses their hatred for the Zhu Li tribe and the Snow Sword Tang court. Yet, nearly all their plots have been crushed by the Sentinel Spirit Army, forcing them to pay a heavy price. Of course, maintaining secrecy remains the ideal. Li Wei asked, Deputy Sentinel Lord, were you already here, watching us being hunted? Do you think news travels that quickly from Dragon Island? Tuo Badao retorted angrily. Who could have predicted you two would dare to assassinate Qin Zhengyang alone? He was furious, fearing Tang Wanzhou's death in the East Sea would leave him unable to answer to the Lion Camel Tamer King. Elder Qin's expression relaxed considerably, and he smiled. You've achieved a great feat. The Deputy Sentinel Lord himself has come to the outpost to welcome you, setting an example for all the new Sentinel spirits and Sentinels. I've risked my life for centuries and never received such treatment. Come, come. All the Sentinel spirits and Sentinels are waiting outside the teleportation hall. Before entering the space teleportation formation, Li Wei retrieved the two corpses from their boundary pouches to prevent the pouches from bursting during transit. Why is there another one? Elder Qin asked, surprised. This is the Chou envoy Xie Wumian, Li Wei replied, I can barely claim the kill. Ah. Elder Qin's eyes nearly bulged out of their sockets with delight. He repeatedly clapped Li Wei on the shoulder. Aiya. You've brought us so much honor, you rascal. Are you serious? Don't look at me, Tang Wanzhou interjected, if it weren't for him, I might not have made it back alive. The feat of killing Xie Wumian was his doing. Your generation's rigid thinking needs to evolve. The 12 Tai Yin envoys are powerful, but they're not invincible. Lu Tianqian and Tuo Badao exchanged astonished glances. They had initially believed that Tang Wanzhou and Li Wei's escape from the Tai Yin sect was the pinnacle of courage and strategy, enough to make the Shaoyang division famous worldwide. They never imagined that during their escape, they would also manage to kill a Tai Yin envoy. Their reaction was understandable. The Cave Void Dongshu camp desperately needed such a major victory to boost morale. On the plaza outside the teleportation hall of Cave Void Dongshu camp, the new generation of Sentinel spirits and Sentinels, including the Spiritual Master Guard, stood in perfect formation, clad in standard issue armor and masked. 34 coffins lay arranged before them. 6 veteran Sentinel spirits, instructors Tu Nanfeng, Shui Yan, Yuan Jingsen, and 3 others, stood on the stone steps above. Tu Nanfeng raised his voice. In recent months, Cave Void Dongshu camp has clashed with Chu Yutian, the true disciple of the Tai Yin sect, 3 times, and suffered 3 crushing defeats. Every Sentinel spirit and Sentinel we sent was annihilated, including 2 great immortal experts. The Life Realm Lord calls us trash, a pack of pigs. He's right. We can't even handle the Tai Yin sect, how can we possibly face the Nether Realm of the Dead? But what a disgrace. Countless lives sacrificed, only to end like this. Even our veteran great immortal experts were outmaneuvered by a junior and met their deaths. The 10 Shaoyang guards of the Shaoyang division stood in the teleportation hall, clad in specially tailored martial garments and wearing white masks. They listened to Tu Nanfeng's narration from outside, knowing today was the day to bury the 34 deceased. Yuan Zhen had yet to report to the Shaoyang division, remaining in seclusion to cultivate his immortal body. This is infuriating. If I had intervened, I could have killed at least one Tai Yin envoy, Kai Hao had muttered. The scholar replied, if Tai Yin envoys were so easily killed, how could the cave void Dongshu camp have lost 3 elite teams? You think you'd be facing a Tai Yin envoy alone? In reality, Chu Yudian might be lurking behind you, with an army of the dead hidden in the shadows and the corpse marquee ghost lord lurking beneath the earth. Otherwise, how did the 2 great immortal masters die? This isn't a simple arena fight where the strongest fist wins. It's far more complex, the Taoist said. Chang Yujian declared, if the heavens had granted me 30 more years, I would have challenged Chu Yudian to a decisive battle above the East Sea, atop Dragon City's peak. Empty threats are easy to make, Qing Zijin said coldly. Chang Yujian forced a bitter smile and fell silent. Whoosh. Deep within the palace, the radiant glow of a formation shimmered into existence. Lu Tianqian stepped out of the space teleportation formation first. Elder Qin followed close behind, his chest puffed out with pride. He waved at Yu He, who sat nearby. Arrange for some men to carry the bodies of the 2 Tai Yin envoys. My juniors have truly exceeded expectations, they actually managed to kill the Chou envoy. Can you believe it? You even tried to stop him from joining the cave void Dongshu camp back then. Yu He had already noticed the 2 corpses within the teleportation formation. Though inwardly astonished, she ignored Elder Qin's boasting and instructed 4 Shaoyang guards from the Shaoyang division to retrieve the bodies. She then ordered Qing Zijin and Nangong to deliver 2 sets of spiritual artifact martial garments, specially forged for the Shaoyang division, to Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou. The 10 members of the Shaoyang division, unaware that Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou had been on Dragon Island for the past few days, stared in astonishment as the pair emerged from the teleportation formation. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Melworld 1 YouTube channel.